everyone. Welcome. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. This is our May Town Hall. We will have at least one other before we go live. So we're so glad that you're joining us. This is really the best place to get all of your questions answered and to learn the latest about the Workday project. So thank you for being here this morning. Just as a reminder, or for those who haven't joined one of these before, this is our change management team, and you'll be speaking with some of these folks today. Our team is focused on communications, training, and stakeholder engagement for the Workday project. All right, so if you don't know already, William & Mary will go live with Workday for Finance and HR on July 1st. So we are really getting close now. And I have a video to show you, but I don't think the sound is going to work, but let's just give it a try. So someone shout out if you don't hear anything, or if you do, either way.
No sound yet.
No
Welcome
sound.
to the world of Workday.
Oh, we got sound.
Beginning in summer 2025, all employees at William & Mary will use Workday. Here are the top 7 things you need to know about this powerful tool, making your work life easier and more efficient. Number 1, the robust mobile app. First up, we have the robust mobile app. Approve everything in one place, on the go. Manage time and leave. Handle finance and HCM approvals, and set custom alerts. Plus, with Phase 2, you'll even be able to complete training right in the app. Number 2, no more paper timesheet. Say goodbye to paper timesheets. One of our most manual processes is now immediately improved. Number 3, update prior pay periods. Need to update a prior pay period? No problem. Workday recalculates everything, including leave balances, ensuring accuracy and efficiency. Number 4, improved digital accessibility. Workday is designed for everybody. Enjoy improved digital accessibility for users who need accommodations and an intuitive user interface for all. Number 5, instant organizational charts. Accessing organizational charts has never been easier. Instantly be able to view team hierarchies, reporting lines, and departmental structures, enhancing transparency and decision-making. Number 6, the green side of Workday. Let's go green with Workday. Its cloud-based architecture, paperless processes, energy efficiency, and sustainability analytics support your organization's sustainability efforts. And finally, number 7, the efficiency edge. Lastly, another significant advantage of Workday over our current system is its immediate posting of fully completed journal entries. Unlike our current setup, which requires an integration that runs once an hour, Workday processes entries instantly, enhancing efficiency and reducing wait times for data to reflect within the system. There you have it, the top 7 things to know about Workday. Embrace the future of work with these powerful features, making your work life smoother and more efficient. For more information, visit our website and explore what Workday can do for you. Visit us at www.wm.edu/workday.
You don't need to watch that again. All right, so I saw several people joining during that video, so I just wanted to welcome folks and let you all know that this is a Q&A, so we're going to update you on some of our recent activities and announcements in the beginning, and then we will shift to the Q&A. So while I'm speaking, feel free to throw a question in the comments, and we will answer them in the order that they're received. All right, so we want to make sure that everyone knows where to find the latest information. So the Workday website is wm.edu/workday. That's where you're going to find all the latest announcements, recent activities, newsletter archives, your Change Network listing. That's all going to be there on the website, as well as our FAQ and our contact information. So if you have any questions about the project, you can email us at workdayproject@wm.edu. You can ask your Change Network representative, and you can, of course, attend these Q&As and town halls. All right, so let's talk a little bit about cutover. So cutover is the final phase of the Workday implementation process, where the transition from our legacy systems to the new Workday system takes place. So currently, Huron, our implementation partner, is working on our gold build, which is basically building out our production tenant that we will all use ahead of our go live date of July 1. So right now, the cutover team is focused on ensuring a smooth transition and addressing any issues that arise. We have put out some recent announcements on the website with more to come. So let me just pull those up for you really quick so I can make sure that everyone has seen them and is aware. Just drag this over here. So this is the Workday website, wm.edu/workday. And let's see if I can drag that down. Just do that. All right, so front and center here on the site are our key dates. So if you go to this page, you're going to see all of our key cutover dates. We are going to continue to build out this page. We have more dates coming later today. So this is a really important page to know about. Please review those dates. All of our announcements are going to be, you can either click here or you'll see them right here on the landing page. We put out an announcement last week for faculty. If we have faculty on the call today, this email came from Provost Peggy Agoris, letting you know kind of what you need to know and what you need to do ahead of the transition. And then the announcement lives here on the web if you need to refer back to it. We also have some recent announcement from HR and procurement. So these announcements will go into more detail about the dates and what they mean for you and how to get support. So all of that information is there on the Workday website. For the procurement one, we did have a lot of questions. So our colleagues over in procurement created this FAQ. So that's a good thing to check out if you have questions as well, because someone might have already asked it and answered it. So that's there on that web announcement. So just wanted to make sure you all knew about these recent announcements. And as I said, they're going to continue coming out. So the website is the best place to go for that information. All right, so we've talked a lot about training in these sessions, and we're excited to start rolling out training this week. We should have that in the digest tomorrow, so you'll be able to see where and how to access the first pieces of training. So this week, we're going to be rolling out our basic job aids. So this is going to show you how to do all of the basics in Workday, as well as our tip sheets. So like I said, that announcement in the digest is going to have step-by-step instructions on how to access those materials. And then in the coming days and weeks, we are going to allow access to our preview tenant. And so once you have access to your job aids and we make more job aids available, you'll be able to perform tasks and follow along in the job aids in the preview tenant, which will be available soon. We will also have micro-learning videos available soon. And then webinars, and then in-person sessions. So all of that information is going to continue to come out. We use email pretty sparingly. We know you all get a lot of emails. So the digest is a really good place to stay up to date, as well as your Change Network representative. So we will continue to post all of those opportunities there. So more communication about training is coming out soon with more details. But you will see kind of those first few pieces come out later this week. All right, so one of our most frequently asked questions that we get during these sessions and our stakeholder Q&As is about Chrome River. So the university has made the business decision to modernize its expense management processes and transition from Chrome River to Workday. Some of the key features in Workday include the mobile app approvals, integrated reporting, real-time tracking, and finance management for reconciliation and budgeting. But we do recognize that this is going to be a bit of a learning curve for all of us because change is hard and it's a new system. But our team, the change management team, is working with the travel team on training and communication to help our community adapt to this new system. So more communication will be coming out about that likely tomorrow, but it will have all of the information that you need, including those cutover dates. All right, so we're just going to get right into it today. We're not going to start off with any questions that we've been getting because we want to allow plenty of time for you all to ask your questions. So like I said at the beginning, please post your question in the chat and we'll go ahead and start answering those. Corinne is here. So Corinne Picataggi, our program manager, will be answering those questions. And also we'll have prizes for those who ask a question. So please ask away. So I'm going to go over to the chat and see.
I answered Corey, but let's go ahead and repeat it. So
Okay.
people are doing other things with other windows open. They don't have to navigate to chat to read it.
Yeah, for sure. So Corey asked, how does information about faculty get back to Banner? Like a new faculty member is hired in August and needs to be added as an instructor to a course, or a faculty member has an approved accommodation for certain type of classroom or building. And so Corinne said, we have several integrations moving data to Banner, including faculty data. They will be in there. And then we have Amanda wants to know, is there training on how to submit timesheets?
There is training. There will be training on how to submit timesheets, as well as job aids, which are a checklist almost of tasks to walk you through it if you don't want to hit a training course. So we're going to make sure you're able to do your timesheet. And I think you'll be excited to find that it's intuitive, a little more intuitive than the Banner side too. So I won't be surprised if you get in there, take a look at it, and decide you don't really need to follow that checklist very closely, but you'll have it there as a safety net.
All right. Will Workday replace people admin for faculty hires?
Yep, people admin is going away for everything. So any activity that occurs in people admin will occur in Workday, and we're super excited about that.
I love this next question because this is something that has been extremely helpful for us in this transition, is speaking with other universities. But Tiffany asks, many other universities have already transitioned to Workday, including UVA. Do you know what challenges they faced during the initial transition and how did they deal with them?
Yes, so we've spoke to lots and lots of schools, some who have gone before us and are live with various aspects of the Workday platform, some who are in it right now, kind of going through it with us. And we've even talked to those who are thinking about it and shared our experiences with them. So, what we've heard in a lot of different places is one of the biggest things after go live that requires fine tuning is security. So Banner uses a very different security model than Workday does. We crosswalked what we had in Workday, or what we had in Banner, to Workday to give us an initial tenant to test in. And our business offices have tested as lots of different hats, wearing lots of different hats to make sure we have Workday in good shape to go live with security, but we know it's not going to be perfect. It's going to have to be adjusted. So we're thinking about that as we build our support structure, our communication, our training, because we're anticipating that we're going to have to fine tune security, in this stabilization period that comes after go live. One of the other things we learned from other schools was how to structure some of that training activity and delivery. You may have heard the team use the phrase just in time. Previously, that was some advice that we got about how and when to deliver our training to maximize effectiveness, and so we've done that. So those are a couple examples. We've also had very technical calls with other schools, the business offices, finance, HR. I know payroll. They've all talked with different colleagues at other universities to ask process questions, configuration questions. So we're definitely utilizing those resources a lot, as over the last year, and I suspect we'll continue doing that as we go forward.
Definitely. Will Workday replace EPAFs for hiring students?
It will. So the EPAF, electronic personnel action form, for those who don't get to dive into that so often on the Banner side, is a mechanism that Lucian introduced a while ago for making those personnel changes more automated than they had been previously. Workday has that all built in, very similar functionality in that it's form driven through the application layer, but there's also a bulk process for doing, some of you use EPAFs and for grad assistants, and you're hiring a whole bunch of them all at once, and Workday can accommodate all of that. And so those activities will be included in our training and communication next month.
Is Chrome River also a July 1 changeover?
It is, yes. So we'll begin processing travel expenses in Workday beginning July 1.
All right. Will there also be training on department entered timesheets? Also, will there be any changes to the timesheet schedule as we get closer to implementation?
There will be training on department time. I want to call out that for those of you who work in facilities and enter time and famous, that's not changing. So that famous to Banner process that exists now will be famous to Workday. So just wanted to call that out specifically. So yes to training and the timesheet timing. I think we're going live with the similar schedule that we have now, which for submission and approvals. We'll confirm that in the frequently asked questions though, and call that out as we get closer.
All right. Kitty said, in the past, when employees who are retiring and using leave prior to the actual retirement date have had to submit paper timesheets since their account gets locked on their last workday on campus, how will they submit their leave now since paper timesheets are gone? She's asking for a friend.
Yep. So we're looking at using that new security model in Workday in a few different ways for timesheets, but also tax documents. So we know that an employee separating in the middle of the year still wants to get to a W-2 after the calendar year for tax purposes. And that previously was not really supported in Banner without some customization and workaround. And that's an opportunity we have to deliver that in Workday. So I'm not sure will all go live July 1, but it's definitely on the list of enhancements, Kitty. If we're not ready, we'll have a workaround in place until we can roll that out. But fortunately, that the security model in Workday is flexible enough that we can do some cool things there with restricting just very specifically what somebody can do.
All right. Vanessa says she's heard the phrase just-in-time training several times. Will there be a list available for sign up with a clear list of what is covered just in time so we pick the correct training?
Yes. So we'll have a catalog of training opportunities and course schedules. All of that is coming, as well as the materials, which I think, Erin, are we starting rolling out? I mean, some materials are out there now, some job aids, but
yeah, we're going to start this week. It'll be in the digest tomorrow. So we're going to start with some of the basics and some of our tip sheets, and then more job aids will be available beginning next week and rolling out through Go Live. So they'll be updated frequently. All right. Will there be detailed guides for the interface between Buy W&M and Workday? And will there be new finance vocabulary to learn?
Yes and yes. So some of that finance vocabulary is on our launch website, which I think if we didn't share that link, we can drop it in the chat. But so we talked about our project website that is public facing and has a lot of announcements and communication information. The launch website that we've stood up is going to be an access point for those, tangible resources that are going to help us get through the change. And we'll introduce those more fully in the coming weeks. But on there, you're going to find lots of crosswalks of Banner to Workday Speak. There's vocabulary out there already that you can start looking at. There's access to the Workday community, which has a lot of free, quick introductory training classes. If you're excited to get started now, you can do that. We encourage it. And so we're going to provide as much support as we can to help you learn Workday. One great thing is, Banner has like its own language. I remember coming over from my time in advancement, and I walked into the third floor of Jones Hall, and everybody was saying Sagaston and Spratter and Spaden, and I was like, what is happening right now? That goes away. They just use real words like timesheet and leave. And so it's very easy to navigate and search in the application layer. And even there's a chat bot. If you don't feel like typing in the search engine, you can ask the AI assistant some questions and get to a lot of the information you'll need that way.
And that launch website, that's going to be included in all of our training communication that comes out. So starting with the digest tomorrow, and then we'll have more training communication coming out next week. We'll have an email that goes out. So we're going to be driving you to that launch website quite a bit here soon. Okay, Lindsay asked, will we be able to retain or transfer applications from people admin that were submitted to open positions during the hiring slowdown?
Yep, so that is part of our cutover consideration that Erin mentioned. We'll provide information on that. Although we aren't using people admin transactionally beginning July 1st, we still have access to it. And we actually have contracts in place with people admin that allow us to get all of our data out. And so we're not going to lose anything. It's not an immediate cut off of access, and if it is, we'll give you plenty of communication time and instruction to get stuff out when that day comes. But we're not going to lose anything.
All right, great question from Kelly. And Kelly, we have more communication coming out at the end of the week, probably tomorrow, about the Chrome River transition and the cutover dates. So all this information will be in there. But Kelly asked, if people are traveling at the end of June into July and have pre-approvals in Chrome River, will their final expense reports be done in Chrome River since the process was already started, or will the pre-approval have to be redone in Workday?
I don't think I know the answer to that. So we'll follow up with that. I think that, so the part that's I'm not sure about is if it was already started. I'm pretty sure we're moving the pre-approvals over to Workday as part of an activity we call catch up. Oh, LaDonna just came off. You got it, girl.
I am here. No, so they're coming out in the cutover dates, but if they are not reconciled by the deadlines that we proposed in tomorrow's communications, then they will need to be resubmitted in Workday because we want everything to be in Workday, the spend authorization and the expense reports.
Thank you.
Thank you, LaDonna. All right, Brandon said, is there a time in which we need to refrain from creating new pre-approvals in Chrome River?
So I'm thinking that's going to be in the email tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Is that right? So pay close attention to that, Brandon. We've got you covered in the communication that goes out tomorrow.
Yep. All right, Sharon asks, what is the impact of Workday on TouchNet Marketplace?
So we're integrating TouchNet with Workday. And so right now, TouchNet is integrated with Banner, and that is on the list as a transition. So TouchNet sticks around. The functionality isn't changing on the front end of TouchNet. It's just going to have Workday as that connector on the back end, just like it has Banner now.
Great. All right, Dan asked, does the Banner deadline apply to all charts? WE, etc.? Or do the timelines differ by chart?
It's the same for all of them. And you can make a note now in Workday. We're going to call those companies. So our charts, but our companies in Workday, and our timeline applies for all of them. Yep.
All right. What changes can we expect from the transition from Chrome River to Workday? Will Workday work similarly to Chrome River, where everything is built in to help aid us through processes like reimbursements smoothly? This is one of my biggest concerns.
So from an overall business process perspective, it's going to function very similarly. Chrome River was designed as a niche travel application. So it does have some more bells and whistles than Workday, but lots of organizations, big organizations, use Workday to process travel. And so we're confident that we're going to be able to adopt it into our travel program and expense management program here at William & Mary. It is going to change, and you're going to have to put in some work learning the new way to do that. It's going to require training and reading the instructions and getting through it. And with practice, you'll become as proficient as you are now in Chrome River. So I want to say we have great confidence that it's going to meet our need, but I don't want to minimize the change here. It's probably one of the biggest changes that we're going to work through, and we'll do exactly that. We're going to work through it. We're going to provide as much support and resources and guidance as we can, and we're going to adjust those as we go. So if we get feedback that something isn't working quite right, or it's not intuitive, or it requires additional training support, we'll provide those. We'll figure it out. And so the best advice I can give you now is to make sure that you do pay attention to the email tomorrow, read it thoroughly, plug into those training opportunities, and just go in knowing, hey, this is something new that I'm going to have to learn, but we're going to get through it.
All right. What will happen to Click? Will the same reports be available in Workday?
So many of the same finance and HR reports are natively delivered in Workday. So that's super cool. You don't have to hop out to another reporting platform to get to those reports. You're going to be able to get to them right in Workday. We're going to keep Click around for student reporting as long as we're running Banner Student, because that part isn't changing. But it's important to note that the finance and HR Click reports that are out there now, they're not going to have data in them beginning July 1st relative to this next fiscal year. So we're going to keep them accessible for historical reference and access. But when you need to look at fiscal year 26 or current transactions, you're going to do that in Workday. Great news, we're providing a crosswalk. It's out there now on that launch website that lists what those click sheets are and what the new way to get to that information will be after go live. Our data and analytics team and IT's put a ton of time into building that crosswalk. They're still continuing to edit it as we go. And again, it's just to help save you a few clicks as you're digging around, poking around. But I actually encourage you, when you have time, so nobody wants to go exploring when they're in a rush to get their hands on some information, but it's worthwhile to carve out time to do that, because that reporting library that's delivered in Workday, I think it's like 4,000 reports or something. There's going to be cool stuff in there that just works because we're doing a lot of configuration, not customization. And so take advantage of that. Don't hone in on just what we say in the crosswalk. Go do that exploring, because you might uncover content that allows you to do even more than you were looking for.
And that launch website with all the crosswalks and the start of the job aids, Nick posted a link to it in the chat, but it's launch.workday.wm.edu. You might see some changes on that site over the next few days, because we are kind of shifting it less project team focus and more training focus. So it's going to change a little bit, but you're welcome to go start exploring it now. All right, Barb said that she thought that the Chrome River switch to Workday was going to be part of phase 2 if it moved, and there's so much summer travel.
Dude, yes, I wish I was traveling this summer, but I think I'm going to be dealing with go live this summer. So I'm guessing that we might be switching Cornerstone and Chrome River there. Cornerstone is what goes away in phase 2, and Cornerstone is related directly to 2 different modules on the HR side, performance management and learning management. And so those are kind of neat little boxes that allowed us to slide them to phase 2, as well as adaptive planning, a new budget tool that's coming in phase 2. Because expenses is tied into that core of finance module, that's what defined it being part of phase 1. So we always knew it was going to be part of phase 1. What took us a little time was to decide the right business decision for the university, if we were going to stick Chrome River, keep it kicking around, or move to the Workday model. There's a lot that went into that decision, and part of it was reintegrating Chrome River to Workday if we wanted to keep it, as well as the ongoing expense of that structure. And those 2 things helped to inform that decision, along with many other considerations to make the change to Workday.
How will employees be able to see past pay stubs when applying for credit or purchasing a home? You often need pay stubs from 6 months ago.
Yeah, so we're solving that problem. I don't know what the answer is yet because we're tossing around a few different ideas for that, but that will be in one of those frequently asked questions or crosswalks where that's on our list, and we'll make sure that you're able to do that.
All right. Another great question from Kitty. With so much moving to Workday, is there a separate initiative to get William & Mary web pages updated? Travel, finance, HR, so links and information match the new Workday environment.
Yes, so it's on the ICC, the communication, as well as those business offices. This project and change is on the radar. So we're thinking about that, inventory and cataloging. It's not going to be perfect July 1st, but we'll get caught up, and we are working through that. If I asked UHR right now or team finance about where they rank getting the website updated, that it's definitely on the list, and we'll get there, but those resources are focused on implementation right now. So it's a delicate balance of getting all of the work done by go live.
All right, with student hiring in Workday, will the current position numbers that are in EPAF transfer over to Workday, or will new position numbers be created? And for students working over the summer, does the department need to do anything in Workday beginning July 1 to transition them?
For students, I'm reading this one just so I can make sure I answer it correctly. For students working over the summer, does the department need to do anything? You won't need to take action there apart from encouraging and supporting your students on doing their timesheet. When they have to start doing a timesheet in Workday, we want to make sure they know that. We have communication plan for our student workers. We have training for them that will be available. But as a supervisor, that your support is going to be critical there to their success. As for position numbers in EPAFs, again, our position numbers, we're moving that over to Workday, but the training will help you understand what you're doing with that. The EPAF process is used for so many different things that the way that you do that in Workday, it's done in Workday, but there's a few different forms that are in play there for the different activities that are covered in the EPAF. So plug into training and those communication, the list of activities and job aids, and that will help you crosswalk what you're doing with those EPAFs to what you need to do in Workday.
All right, and Shanae has another question about Chrome River, asking if faculty are going to understand it, being Workday over Chrome River, or is that going to fall on us?
Yeah, so we have some of the most brilliant minds on the planet here on our faculty. I'm quite confident they can understand the travel process in Workday. But we also, went to a faculty meeting and they joked at us and said, assume I'm not reading any emails. So what we're learning on the change management side is how to target and focus communication so it's effective to the audience. And we're thinking about that with faculty. It's why the team put together that message in collaboration with Pam Eddy and the provost to get this on faculty radar in a different way. And we're thinking about what information is most important to highlight relative to the change in travel based on different audiences. So I'm confident they can understand it. It's likely they're going to have questions because we all are, but hopefully our support resources and approach will help mitigate some of that as we're all being, learning the system together and becoming proficient. I do want to call out, and I think we might have talked about this before, but this change is for all of us, right? So from IT folks writing reports and integrations to our business office colleagues in HR, finance, payroll, some of them have 20 years of Banner expertise. They are experts with all the hours that they've put into that platform environment and how we do business in Banner. And we just took that away. I mean, we're all going in new to Workday. And so this change is for all of us. And while that's exciting, it's also a little nerve-wracking, I think, for some folks. But as a tribe, what we need to remember is that patience and understanding that we're all in this together is going to go a long way these next couple months in the summer, because when you would normally phone an expert over in the travel office, that expert is in a little bit of a different position than we were, relative to Banner and Chrome River. So just keep that in mind and share that with your faculty colleagues when the frustration hits, which will likely occur. And just remember, we're going to get through it. I can make this commitment, and we've talked about it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be awesome, which is a term that I love from President Rowe. But, one thing I've thought a lot about is we're really great at solving problems. We're exceptional at that here at William & Mary. If we have an idea or something is broken, we can solution and we can fix it. So while we expect a few bumps after go live, I have every confidence that we're going to get through them, because I've never encountered a problem here that we couldn't solve. And so keep that in mind too, is that we expect those bumps, but we also expect solutions, and we'll deliver them. And so just keep that in mind, that we're going in with those eyes open.
All right, Corey asked or says, currently in Click, labor distribution and payroll data details are only available for the past 5 fiscal years. Do you know if Workday will store all historical payroll data for personnel going back to their original date of hire?
I don't think we're moving all that data, Corey. We're only moving a subset of data, I think, for that, but we'll have reference to it and temporarily still in Click, but making a plan for anything that is Banner to be archived and accessible in a different way. So I think that's one of those things that is on the future phase list of what's part of. One of the other things we're focusing on in phase 2 is exploration of Prism, which is an enterprise reporting tool that sits alongside Workday. It's part of the Workday ecosystem. And so evaluating how that fits along with the Workday reporting that we're getting in the application, along with what we've done in Click and what we're able to do in the Microsoft ecosystem and in AWS. And so we've got some planning to do and designing, architecting to do in phase 2. And some of these long-term reporting and data solutions will solve that then. And in the meantime, we'll have some interim solutions in place.
All right, Cynthia says, is the new SSO or single sign-on that is going live today through IT part of what will help us log into Workday? And will we be added to the Teams channel, the Workday Teams channel, or is that something different?
The Teams channel is for the core project team. I haven't thought through welcoming the entire campus there. We are exploring some user communities, though, where we'd love to connect with all of our users. And so stay tuned for that. As for SSO, our single sign-on is part of Workday. So however you're using SSO to access those other enterprise applications, that will be part of, Workday. The experience will be the same.
What will replace index and account numbers?
That there's a new financial accounting structure in Workday. We'll have you'll hear the acronym FDM. I think it's Foundational Data Model. And we're going to have lots of training and crosswalking to help you translate what you're used to seeing in Banner with your index and that focal string to the new FDM model. One thing the team decided to do, which I think is great, is that we're actually appending the index in some of our display names in Workday, so that way you can still search for it. So as you're learning the new model and trying to remember those new values, in some cases you'll be able to search for the old ones in Workday. It's not part of the accounting structure, so it's not what you're going to use to transact business. But as far as the display name in certain places, it will help you get to the right place.
All right. Will people be able to still designate a delegate in Workday for their travel submissions?
Yes, we'll have some delegation.
Okay. Is there a plan to consolidate the number of indexes in the future?
So we've done a little bit of that already. I think the team, as we were going through the project, found an opportunity to do that some more. So the nature of the structure changing brought some of that inherently. So some of that consolidation and changing has already occurred. And as we learn more about Workday, it's inspired ideas to do more of that in the future. We couldn't trying to do that at the same time we were learning the FDM proved to be pretty challenging. And so I think that will come as we continue to enhance and improve using the Workday platform.
Are there any related platforms or functions that will not be transferring over to Workday?
Yeah, I think BuyWM is a good example of that. So that's related to our finance and procure to pay system, and BuyWM sticks around. So that's, even though it is integrated with Workday and the new financial model will be reflected in BuyWM, we'll continue to purchase and do all those tasks in BuyWM. Another good example of that is America to Go. So that sticks around. We're integrating ATG with Workday. And so that's another one of those that is not transferring over to Workday, but will supplement the Workday activity as additional functionality. EJV is built in, yo. So moving money around the university, which I chuckle at all the time, right? It is built right into Workday. And so that functionality will exist in the ecosystem, and we'll have lots of great training on that.
All right. And our next question, with all of the index changes, will this work more efficiently with local fund reconciliations, or will that be a learning curve as well?
I think everything is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but I don't think it's a sharp one. It's not a sharp curve, right? So once you spend some time understanding and getting familiar with what those terms are with the FDM fund hierarchy, how they fit together, spend categories, once we learn the vocabulary, the vernacular, I think you'll find that things will come together pretty easily. Similar with reconciliation, with the reporting that's natively delivered, I think you're well positioned to be successful there. But we all are going to have to learn the new vocabulary and the new Workday language and process model and interface. So I think you can go in with excitement and eagerness that it's going to be better and awesome. And a lot of it is intuitive, but we are going to have to spend some time getting used to it.
All right. Are we going to be able to assign delegates in America to Go once it's integrated in Workday?
So I'm not anticipating any change to what exists now. So I've participated in some of those planning sessions, not in all of them in detail, but I know that we have, the approver is coming over to ATG like it did from Banner. And so the way that it works now is the way that it should work with Workday.
All right. And regarding student employment, specifically students working over the summer, how will they be notified about training for submitting timesheets? And do we have dates for training yet?
Yeah, so we have communications planned for students and their supervisors targeted around when they need to take those actions and activities. And in advance of those, we'll have links to training. The interface is very intuitive on this for the student timesheet side. So I don't, when I think about those who will struggle the most with some of these changes we're talking about, students aren't at the top of the list. I mean, we certainly want to make sure they're informed. We certainly want to make sure they have the resources they need, but I'm not expecting they're going to be really struggling apart from their typical struggles we see sometime with hitting things on time and getting it done. So we're trying to cover that with good communication and links to the resources they need.
All right, the next question is about by W&M not transferring over. Wake Forest went through a Workday transition and purchasing vendor punch out was incorporated into Workday. Why not at William & Mary?
Yeah, so our team evaluated whether the Workday product could meet the need as well as by WM, and that decision shook out that it couldn't meet our need in the same way. So our business teams came together to evaluate functionality in both platforms, and we picked by WM. I'm not sure exactly what led Wake Forest to make a different choice, but I can say that our team spent a lot of time considering that, and we just concluded something different.
All right. And Kathleen asked if the answers to today's questions will be in the FAQ or somewhere, because she had to miss a couple of the answers when a faculty member came in. So Kathleen, we are recording this session, and so you will have access to the recording after. And we'll also be looking through the questions and adding any of them that we think need to go on the website into the FAQ on the web.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you saw my post early in the meeting, but I totally think we should do a town hall in July. I feel like once we go live, that's when we're going to get real feedback, when people put their hands on it all. And so I want to welcome that. I will hear frustrations, we'll hear questions, but I want all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, only because I want to deliver on that commitment I made to solve problems and help think through things we can enhance. I've said this before, but I mean, we've had Banner around for 20 something years, right? Workday's a long term. We're in it for the long game. And so to think that we're going to have everything perfect and polished on day one, it's not realistic. We're going to go live and we're going to be in great shape, but there's functionality we know that we haven't tapped into yet. And we get new releases September and March every year. And Workday's pretty fantastic about delivering new business opportunities and new processes for efficiency. And so we're going to continue to adopt and change. I think that's, from a change perspective, maybe one of the biggest things that we'll see is that in Banner, in a lot of ways, we looked a lot like we did 20 years ago. Certain things we added on over the years, but I don't think there was as much opportunity because they weren't modernizing the platform in the same way that Workday does as a business. I mean, the Banner or Lucian approach was to bolt on separate products. That's how we ended up with this portfolio of applications. And Workday's philosophy is a little bit different. They try to deliver those solutions in the platform, which enable not just that functionality, but allowing you to connect different business processes in different ways. So get excited about that part of the change, that we're investing in a platform that's going to help us be better for the next 20 years.
We had one more question come in. Will there be Workday hours like we have by W&M hours?
Yeah,
Where,
we're talking through that. It's something that's been suggested. I'm trying to balance from a program manager perspective, how we can facilitate that, recognizing that a lot of the time that you're going to want is with folks in the core business offices who will still be managing some of the transition and the dust that kicks up after go live. So I plan to have some kind of open office hour. What that's going to look like exactly, I'm not quite sure yet. I still have to think through how I can balance that with the work that I know those teams are going to have ahead of them. And so we'll figure out a good plan, but I can't break their plates. They're already full, so we'll see what that looks like.
all right, just a comment from Cynthia that she's checking out the Workday website and the launch website, and that she loves the launch website, the crosswalk, the glossary, the job aids, and that they look extremely helpful. So thank you, Cynthia, because I think most, if not all, of the people responsible for standing up that site and those job aids are on the call. So I know they appreciate that comment. Sharon asked, is there an app for hourly time entry?
Yep, same app that will cover time entry. Well, okay, so if we're talking about facilities, that's still happening in Famous. So let me qualify that. But as for timesheet and time entry, we'll be able to do that in the Workday app, the same place that we'll be able to look at our profile and the directory and do approvals and all the things. One place.
All right, and Kitty just wants to say this is exciting stuff.
It sure is, Kitty. Thanks for asking good questions. Again, we really appreciate the questions because it helps us shape that change management. The launch website that Cynthia called out, I just want to take a minute. Like Erin said, most of those folks are on the team. It's the biggest thing we're going to do from a technology application, project for probably 10 years. And so we really wanted to approach change management in a different way and try to help the campus through this change as best we could, as effectively as we could. And so we're excited about the resources and having that structure in place to help get us through this together.
All right, well, that's the end of our questions in the chat, but if you all think of questions after, please feel free to send them to us at workdayproject@wm.edu, and we will get you those answers. We will have another town hall in June. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it will be in the digest. It will be in the Luminary event system, so you'll be able to find that the same way you found this one, but we will see you again in June.
Thanks, team.
Thank you. Have a good one. Stay dry.